Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and as part of our winter survival series, in this video today we're going to talk about
some of the things you might not have thought of when preparing your vehicle emergency kit. Now typically whenever you think of an emergency kit for your car, the most common things people will put in their car is like some water, maybe a big flashlight, some jumper cables, a first aid kit, some road flares, and maybe a day or two supply of food. Now something you might not have thought about is if you end up in an accident, and say right now it is winter time, and you end up on the road and you get stranded, just like about 2 or 3 years ago up north, they had a big problem on the interstate where all these people got trapped in their cars for a couple of days actually, and by the time road crews got through there and was actually clearing out cars, they had to actually take them to local shopping center parking lots to get them out of the way. People had to abandon their cars and when the snow had finally let up and walk their way home. That may not be your case. You might end up off the side of the road and you can't walk home. So what I've done is I kind of put an extra accessory kit together. This is a box from a basic art kit, so recycle. And you can put Velcro underneath this to where it'll actually stick to the carpet under your car. So if you do have a wreck, let's say you were on the phone telling somebody you're on your way home during the snow, and while you're talking to them your phone's dying, and you go to try to fiddle with your charger to get it plugged in, and you end up wrecking. You've killed your motor, your power source, so you have no way of running heat. You have no way of using your phone because it's dead and you can't charge it, so you might be stuck there for a day or two. So what I've done is I use this, and if you put Velcro under something just like this, you can get a little pencil box from Walmart or whatever, and you put Velcro under that, you have a wreck, it should still be accessible to you under your seat. Now inside this, what we've got is, I tried to go with dry foods, that way if you leave it through the summer you're going to be alright. There's 4 packs of instant oatmeal. I did get the flavored, if I'm eating it dry I want something to taste good. A couple of granola bars here, and you've got 2 boxes of matches. There's a can of potted meat, the emergency blanket, emergency whistle. It's even got a compass, magnifier on there, but most importantly is the whistle and a temperature gauge, a thermometer. I've got a smaller flashlight, that way if yours is busted or got lost in an accident, you've still got one. It is small. And right here I have 24 tea light candles, and each candle will burn approximately 3 hours, so that gives you basically 3 days worth of burn time out of that. Now with that being said, most people typically, unless you're a really neat freak person, they'll have a drink in their car. And what you can do is if you end up in that situation and you know you're not going to be able to get out of it, you can just simply take a Coke can, you get one of your tea lights out, and you cut across, and I've already done these just to make it a little faster and easier for you to see. But you cut you a cross in there that's wider than your tea light, and you peel these back. Always be careful so you don't cut yourself because there are sharp edges. And I've done all these actually in my lap, so yes, it can be done in the driver's seat. You cut that, and you can actually set this on your floorboard if you have one of the hard rubber mats that's level. You can actually do that and set it this way, and it's kind of like a radiator. What it'll do is it'll build heat up inside the can and radiate it off, rather than just having it come up in a straight tiny column. So you got a type of radiator, and what you'll do is you've got that going. You take your emergency blanket, you tuck it in behind you, and you pull it up over your head and over the steering wheel, and you can tuck it down the sides, and that'll contain that within and keep the heat radiated to you, and that's going to reflect it back. So you've got your food, and hopefully you kept water in your vehicle like I said in the initial kit, and you've got a radiator to help keep you warm. But if you were off-sided, if you were slanted on the side of the road, you obviously can't set this in your floorboard because when it tips, it's going to be pouring hot wax out and you're liable to set your car on fire. So another way to do it, it does take more time. This one about 3 to 5 minutes. Another way to do it is this, and this one actually takes about 15 minutes. So what I've done is first I took the can and I pulled the tab off the top of it. Then you take your knife. That's something you might want in your kit if you don't carry one in your pocket. I do. And you cut a hole right in the middle. You just cut a slot in there, and all you got to do is you hold the can between your legs, and you just take the knife and you set it about in the middle, and you just gently tap on it. It will go through eventually. You take that tab and you're going to poke it through. You can use your shoelace unless you have string in your car, but a shoelace will work. It ain't like you're walking anywhere. Tie that through there so it can't fall through. And then you're going to take your knife and you start right here at the base. You're going to put it like that, and you're just going to tap it in and cut it about 1/8 of an inch past this rim. And you're going to do that about every 1/4 inch or so all the way around. And once you get that all the way around, you cut you 3 or 4 of them right here against the base, and then you use your knife to pull them out, bend them up, and you can slide a T-light in there. Now what you'll do with this is, since you're not on a level surface, you take that shoestring. I'm going to borrow Lucas' my steering wheel, and you can hang that up, tie that to your steering wheel, and you can actually use that to pull it up, check the flame, see how it's burning. And that way you can adjust, and whenever your candle gets low, you can actually just blow it out, take the thing out, give it a minute to cool, take it out, and just slide another tea light in there, and you relight it. And that's what your matches are for. So with that, all you do is, once you've cut your slots, you can take your hand and you just tap, and that'll actually crimp that. As you can see, it's a little crimped all the way around, and that expands those to let air get in so that the flame doesn't suffocate itself out. And if your can does not hang quite level, you can bend it on each side to adjust it to where it becomes more level. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail. You can kind of get the idea for yourself, and what we're going to do is actually go get in a car in the cold and show you how these work. As you can see, there is actually snow out here, and this vehicle is not warm. So we're going to get inside there and try to show you how it's actually going to be a cold vehicle, and you're going to try to heat your space inside of a vehicle with your blanket and your cans and your candles. Now, as you can see, if you can tell on the thermometer, it is freezing in here. It's actually a bit colder. The thermometer hasn't had time to adjust all the way down yet, but it is cold enough. You can see my breath probably. But either way, I got my kit set in here and the can that in simulation. I pulled the kit out from under my seat, and I just had this can in here, and I've already cut it, and I'm going to pull the emergency blanket out and shield myself over and light the generator, or the radiator, I'm sorry, and see if we can get some heat going and how warm we can get it under there. Matches. Now, we do have the light on in here. That's to help you be able to see better. So ideally, in the situation, I'd be having to use a flashlight right now. Now, I am holding this side up as I do this, and that's so, of course, you can see. And what I'll do is I'll pull this side back down as I get this going, and that way, hopefully, it'll hold the heat in, and we'll achieve what we're trying to do here, and you'll get the idea of it. So I'll take my string from my can, and I'm just simply going to reach in here and tie that around the steering wheel. And what I'll do is I will let that hang down here, right next to my leg. And, as I need to, I can pull that up and I can check my candle, make sure you hold it level. But what that'll do is that'll allow my legs to have some warmth, and that'll let the heat still radiate up. And this blanket will actually trap it in for me. Okay, we've got our candle lit. Now all I'm going to do is simply, can's getting warm already. I'll ease this down here. I'm going to pull the Mylar down, or the emergency blanket down, and try to catch that heat and keep it in here with me. So we'll see you in a bit. Okay, now I've been in here for about 10 minutes, and I don't know if you can see it or not. It may be kind of hard to see, but we're sitting right about 50 degrees, maybe just a hair over it. But that's 10 minutes in, and I couldn't see my breath in here. I can out here, as you might just see. So it's a lot colder outside this thing than it is in here. As you might expect, it is a tea light candle, so it's not radiating a mass amount of heat at once, but it's good enough that I'm not freezing to death. And if I've got my water in here with me, it's going to stay liquid. I ain't going to have frozen water. Now, if you have an extra jacket, something you might be able to plug under your seat to keep cold air from rolling in forward, that would be great because that'll help keep your feet warmer. If you don't, you can do a supplemental tea light down there. I have a 24 in my pack. That should be enough for 3 days, as they burn about 3 hours apiece. As you can see, I've got my blanket pulled down on my side over here, keeping that cold air that rolls off the window off my legs. And when I was in here, I've got this side pulled all the way down as far as I can. And then I've got it tucked in behind me, and I've got it wrapped around the steering column as tightly as I can. And just letting this thing do its job. And in 10 minutes time, I've risen from 32 degrees to 50. So if there's 18 degrees in 10 minutes, that's not bad. So besides that tea light, I've got my body heat radiating, and that works as well. So it's just a supplemental. Basically what that tea light will do is help keep your body from having to burn all of its energy to stay warm at all. So you're above freezing, you're well above freezing actually, and that's an awesome thing. It does its job. It's not your central heating unit. But if you have extra candles, you can supplement with those. Put those in the floor, just watch your feet. They'll get you warm. If you need to take a nap, you put those out because you don't want to set yourself on fire, and safety's always first. So hopefully this has brought to your attention some of the things you might not have considered before that you might consider now.
And keep in mind that this may save your life one day, and hopefully you never have to put it to use, but just in case, you'll be prepared. So until we see you again on Stephen Trumpet's Prepper channel, have a most blessed day, in Yahushua's name.